Looking to jumpstart your spiritual fitness journey?
With this 21-day course, we'll guide you through powerful lessons on self-awareness, self-love, and boundary setting, part of the foundation for a lasting transformation.
This course is all about helping you break free from old patterns, discover your inner strength, and step into the best version of yourself.
And to make your journey even more impactful, we've included beautifully designed PDFs filled with reflective exercises and insights to boost your experience.
Plus, we've created personalized journals made just for this course, giving you space to process, grow, and celebrate your progress every step of the way.
You get all of this for just $34.95, a small investment in yourself that can lead to big transformations.
Whether you're looking for clarity, confidence, or a deeper connection with yourself, the 21-day Jumpstart course into spiritual fitness is your perfect starting point.
So why wait? Your transformation begins now. Click the link in the description to sign up and take the first step on your special journey.
Hello, everybody. This is part 2 of You Deserve Nothing Less Than the Best. So we are hopping into our next part of how to reclaim your standard. And I want to give some quick little tips before we really hop into it. Journaling and having that awareness, noticing patterns in your own behavior, learning to sit with the discomfort instead of just running from it, honoring your intuition. Does this feel good to my spirit is a great question to ask yourself. And affirming your worth. I don't have to prove I am lovable. I already am. So we talked a little bit about this on part 1. So go back to that part first before you hop into this one, or none of this will make sense. And your affirmation for today is, I no longer audition for love. I am the prize, and the room must rise to meet me. Which we'll hop a little bit further into this podcast, all about even further great affirmations that you can do.
Yeah, we've uncovered the why behind settling. Why do we settle in relationships, and the signs that it's happening in our last episode. But the real power move is learning how to start choosing more, choosing you, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. It's okay to have those emotions of uncomfortability and familiar. That's the only way you're going to change it. You're just going to, or we all just keep on doing the same thing. If it's familiar, it's blah, blah, blah. Like, where are we going to really grow?
Yeah.
When
has anything great came from familiar?
Nothing. Nothing.
So it's so true. And because when you've been conditioned to accept crumbs, a full meal can actually feel overwhelming. So choosing more doesn't just mean wanting more. It means becoming someone who is willing to receive it.
Yes. So reaffirm your worth daily. Practical tools or affirmations aren't just nice quotes. We know that as we have our just natural thoughts popping into our head that are just on autopilot, a lot of them will, if we sit with them, we might believe them. So why not put in thoughts that we truly want to have this new path in our neurotransmitters of our brain? And I just picture this, is that so many of us, if we're driving to work or we're driving to someplace, the destination we go to often, kids' school or whatever, we get there a lot of times and think, did I actually stop at the stoplight?
Yes.
How did I get here? I got here so autopilot. And we'll go the path of least resistance in our choices. That's just auto, that's survival. To build a new road, we've got to start doing new verbiage, our power of the tongue, and we've got to have visuals for it. And so example would be, I am worthy of love that feels safe and expansive. What does that look like for you? What is worthy for love? And if you've never had it, then maybe even go look up or think of examples of people that you know that are in love, the great relationships. Even if it's on TV, does not matter. But have that be your new visual, and the believability that you deserve it, no matter what you do. Another one would be, I trust myself to choose relationships that honor my soul. And what does that look like? So not are you only just saying this as a mirror work, it's more powerful to say it in the mirror,
Mhm.
but to have the visual behind it so that your mind like now has a new path, a new road. And the more you're consistent on what rings true, like these really powerful affirmations for yourself, new words, uh, it's going to be now your new school that you go to on autopilot, or your new job that you
Yeah.
go to on autopilot. This is a self-love job. So I just say
And
you
notice
create a
too
new
if there's
path to
any
your job.
resistance while you are
Hmm.
saying this. There's been times where it's hard to look myself in the like straight, like directly in the eyes and say these things. And then it's like, oh, I can see that like I'm feeling kind of weird about saying this.
Right. It doesn't feel true to me. I feel like, and it kind of hurts, like you're lying. And so you're recognizing that. And then that's where you might even want to shift the saying so it's more believable. So an example of this is when you say like I love you in the mirror, like I want to say I love you, but when you say it, it so feels weird and off. So you can say I like you a little bit more today,
Hmm.
and that doesn't feel like as resistant. And your mind says to yourself, well, I do like you a little bit more today. And then you can move it into the love card of like,
Yeah,
I
and
really
or
actually
even
love you a
too
little bit
just
more
like
today.
pointing out like things that you different little mini things that you like about yourself, like wow, you really are just like an amazing cook. Like if you can't love the full aspect of you, you can love attributes of you.
Yeah. Bring
And
those in.
just how you would do to a partner, reciprocate that to yourself. So how you want to be loved to you from a partner, you do that for yourself by whether it's words, like quality time with yourself, doing acts of service for yourself, all those little things, even just physical touch with yourself. It helps. It really helps you to get to know yourself and love yourself because how are you going to know how you want to be loved by your partner or a friend if you can't do that for yourself? So
Right.
learn more about yourself and then you will really be able to rise to those standards of what I desire, what do I want, what do I deserve? Because if you're able to find that what you deserve for yourself, it's going to be able to easily to explain it to other
Yeah.
people.
And concluding step one would be when you practice seeing yourself as worthy every single day, it becomes hard to allow people or situations into your life that contradict that truth.
Hmm.
And we have walked this, we know this for it to be a complete
Yeah.
100% fact. The more you're aware of your self talk and how you talk, we can't stress enough. Like for me, the more I stop being critical of other people or in my head or myself, it just my whole life just switched. Quit being
Hmm.
judgmental. The judgmental card will take your peace every single day and put
Yeah.
you in the wrong situations.
And it's so funny too, because I think so many times whenever I am thinking the judgmental thoughts, it is a reflection, either a full reflection of you or just a smidge of what you think about yourself.
It
So
is
whenever
somewhere
you
you
say
playing it.
something inside your head about somebody that's rude, it's actually quite funny to have that self-awareness because you're like, oh, actually,
The hypocrisy is so real.
yes, you're like, I'm
Every
actually
time
kind
I
of
can pull it out.
thinking
I
those
can pull
things
it
about
out.
myself. Just
Right. And have we really ever walked in anybody else's shoes?
exactly.
Like, don't get on the same bandwagon of everybody gossiping, because it just
Hmm.
brings more chaos to your own life of judgmental and us of people judging your life. And you're like, oh my gosh, these people are judging me. Well, where are you judging other people? Like, that's what I
Yes.
say to myself. So,
Exactly. And then
uh,
step 2 would be to
yeah,
get honest about the story you're living. So
yeah,
perfect jump into this. Ask what silent agreements have I made about love, about my value towards it. And I've seen this in clients before where they're like, well, it's hard to find the value of love because I've seen my parents, they talk about how hard it is, and I see them argue. Or I've seen all my family is very loud and they always yell at their partner. Or my friends, they're cheating on their partner. It's normal to have that disloyalty. No one's loyal anymore. So I guess I can just expect this. No, where is your value? What are your key points of what you want in life and in that relationship? So for example, if deep down you believe love has to be earned, you'll attract that make you want to have, like, make you work for that basic respect. And basic respect in a relationship should not be work.
mm,
And rewrite that story. So instead of I have to fix people to be loved, your new story is I am loved simply because I exist. And I think even like Jerome and I, my husband and I, we've talked about this before where I simply love him because of him, like his own goofball self, and he loves me because I'm me. And he's just happy that I exist, and I'm happy he exists, and it's like, I'm not trying to fix him in any way, and it's like we both give each other that common respect. So, your story determines your standards. If you want different outcomes, you have to tell a different story about what you're worthy of. Just exactly what you said. I mean, the story that you're telling yourself on repeat, you need to rewire that into a story of like, so for instance, in my previous relationship, going into my relationship now, I really was like telling myself the story of like, kind of like all men cheat, or I don't, every man is like this, or, the story that you keep telling yourself. And I had to stop that as I was going into the relationship that I am in now and tell myself, no, actually, not every man is like this. There are amazing men out there. There, even in friendships too. I mean, I had to rewire my brain, and even hopping into friendships of no one pours into my cup. I'm always the one pouring into everybody else's cup. I was like, actually, my new story is going to be I have amazing friendships that pour even furthermore into my cup. And I can genuinely say, shout out to all my amazing friends out there that like, I feel like my cup is overfilling, and I'm like, let me pour into yours. Give me a second. I'm going to get right back to you. And it's, just rewriting that new story, and even if sometimes I feel like at times I was fibbing to myself because I didn't really necessarily think it fully, but as that gratitude and that new story came in, and it's not like you're lying to yourself of, like, silly things, it's, like, legit things that it is true, there are amazing men out there. There are pure friendships out there that are gonna love you for just who you are in that existence.
They really are. Step 3, define your standards, not just boundaries. So
Mhm.
boundaries say what you won't allow. Like really,
And we talk
truly,
about this in our course, so
we
if you want
have.
further in boundaries.
And standards say what you insist on receiving. Make a list. My standard for relationships is mutual respect, emotional safety, clear communication, and peace, not chaos. So there's your
Consistency.
list,
Sure.
right? And so
Yeah,
your
write down your
standards,
list because you won't know. If you
right?
don't
You
know,
got
then
to know who's going to know. I mean, are we supposed to do guesswork? Like that's what we've got to be.
and
Mine
me
would
and my
be peace.
friends, we've done this in our friendships, like, right off the bat, and I know I've talked about this in the previous season, but right off the bat, like, I've told my friends, like, "I'm gonna try to get to you text message-wise as soon as possible, but I'm changing diapers, I'm cooking food, I'm doing nap times, I'm on a constant run, and I'm not on my phone 24/7," so I let them know, like, "I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Sometimes you might need to double text me. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, but there are other things in my life that I can't just pause and stop and really think about a text. Plus, I like being very genuine with my messages and doing having that happen. But what was I saying?
Your standards should feel like home, not like breathing, not a negotiation.
Mhm.
And a lot of us have walked out so much of our life worried about other people's peace, worried about abandonment issues. Like
Mhm.
if I really show up as my true self and say that I'm this way or that way, religion,
Mm.
politics, whatever it is, that I'll
Mhm.
lose friendships.
Yes.
And if you're just, it seems so asinine, especially working with the elderly over 60, 70, 80 years old, like 90 years old, 100 years old, they don't care. like I'm me, and here I am, and I might die tomorrow, and so who cares? And that's really been just wide open. They just say it how it is, and I
Mhm.
love it. I love it. I love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could eat up truth all day long. Just
Yeah.
speak your truth. Sometimes they're a little crass, or they like say things that you're like, oh my gosh, that was kind of a little bit rude, but it was straight, like how they saw something right then and there. And I think, you know what, who's taking it personally? It's just from
Yeah.
them. Let's be
Constantly
real.
being that person of agreement. It's like that what's that one saying where it's like everybody's friend is nobody's friend.
Oh, it's
Because
so
if
good.
it's like, if you are friends with everybody, right? That, like, you're agreeing to that person, that person, that person, that person, that person. It just means that, like, in a way, you're just kind of not being true to who you really
Well,
are. The
that was something
born.
I had a rude awakening with, where I had well over 30 clientele, and they all had different views on religion and everything else. And one day I had this epiphany moment. And I thought, if I was having a party and all my clients were gathered at my home and we all started speaking out loud, like on a speakerphone, where am I being a chameleon to keep them
Mhm.
as my clientele?
Speaking the truth. Yeah.
because they're like very adamant this way or that way. And I walked into work that next day, and no matter what they said, I said, that's very interesting. Just letting
Mm.
them speak out, not trying to change their point of view, but I was not going to be the chameleon and saying, I
Yeah.
agree with that or anything else. Like it's just, and some things I did agree with, but I still just kind of kept it neutral so
Yeah.
they could just speak out and I could have my
Well,
integrity.
it's
I
like
did
speaking
notice
your
that.
truth without worrying about the repercussions of what's going to be happening afterwards. So, for instance, in your relationship, friendship, job, whatever. So, with Jerome and I, in the very beginning of our relationship, I feel like this is one of the key factors that really helped us work.
Was
Was I was just kind of tired and sick of the bull crap. I've kind of mentioned this before, even in our previous season, but I was just tired of it. I was like, I just want to just be 100 up front with who I am, what I desire, my needs, the fact that what I really felt like I deserved, which is the very best, right? And my very best was, hey, like, my dream is I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I just want loyalty, communication. Please, I never felt really heard growing up, so please, like, listen to me. All these other little, different things. Obviously, no cheating, no crazy stuff. I mean, that's just the basic of like a healthy relationship, I feel like. And I laid it out what I wanted, so there wasn't like any surprises. I want kids. This is what I believe. Like the pedestal of things, like financial, those main things. And he was just like, yeah, like I can do that for you. I can do that for you. And I'm like, okay, but not because you want to be with me, but genuinely because you feel like that's something you want to do, that you does feel like you deserve and you want to provide. He's like, yeah, no. And then he laid out also on me like this, and this. And it's basic things that me and him wanted out each other. It wasn't anything like crazy or wild. And we obviously upheld to that word. But with laying that all out, and now I said I did it even my friendships now, it just really sets that stone, being upfront with who you are and letting them just already know in advance where you stand, what's your belief behind certain things. And in my friendships now, I realize that a lot of my previous relationships and friendships didn't last because I was living a lie within myself of telling them what they wanted to hear or letting things slide. And it obviously built up a lot of resentment whenever I should have been speaking my truth from the very start. And that's why a lot of my relationships ended because I didn't stay true to who I was. I let them kept walking over me. And just like, after a certain amount of time, you can be walked over so many times or said so many different things. And it gets to a point where you can't even like you're getting stomped on where you're not even able to come up for air anymore. And if you feel like you're at that point, it is time to speak up and use your voice. There was, I felt like there was actually a moment where I actually spoke up in one of my friendships that was starting to slowly deteriorate. And the next morning I woke up and my throat was literally like I felt like a fire came out like a dragon, and it was so sore. And for some of us that just it's like "Ugh, ugh," you like the frog in your throat. It can be difficult to speak up for what you truly desire. But know in the long run it's going to benefit you, it's going to benefit your partner, it's going to benefit friendships. Even, starting off jobs, tell them what you want. And if you don't ask, you won't receive. It says that even in the Bible, ask and you shall receive.
so true. It's very true. You were given a mouthpiece for a reason.
Mhm.
And wouldn't we all like to hear the truth from everybody exactly where they
Yes.
stand? And then we get to make a decision. Hey, I
It
don't want to hang
it
out
helps
with
you
you.
respect the person a little bit more
Right.
too. It's just
You
like, "Thank you for telling me." And even just, not
and
even in the
being
beginning of
vulnerable.
relationships, but in the middle, while you're in your relationships, if things start popping up, use your voice, speak your truth.
Hmm.
And I think whenever I have people say things to me and they're just like they bring things to my attention, it's like that ego is not there, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, thank you for coming out of such a dear place of love, and I'm really wanting our relationship to last and grow, and I'm going to help provide as much as I can in that."
Right. And
And there's
step
step
4,
4, trust the pause.
trust the pause. Loneliness can trick you into accepting anything just to feel the silence. And choosing yourself often requires sitting in discomfort longer than you want to, but it's where self trust is built. And
Mhm.
I can 100% say that I've lived and walked this. The
Yeah.
silence can be totally awkward in the beginning. So many of us will turn on the TV um, that we want. We'll even call somebody. We constantly have to have
Yeah.
that. Turn on the music really loud.
It feels
But
lonely, I think,
it's the
especially in the
silence.
mornings. No good morning
Yeah, it
voice.
is. The quietness is actually where it's all at. That's where the real true depth of healing and listening to your soul speak.
Mhm.
It wants to completely surround you in love and joy and take care of you. But we are uncomfortable with our own emotions a lot of times. And that was one of the biggest things. I think it was so weird. Once I heard this therapist talk about how it is, how we're trained to not be okay with being angry or sad, it's really kind of ridiculous because we were given the emotions for like a reason, a map,
Mhm.
uh, to kind of guide us. It's the
I
emotional
love
guide.
that. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. So that's what I use it for now. Like, okay, I had this anxious feeling, or, oh, kind of feel a little sad. And it's just a moment of pause and
Mhm.
reflection. And it's so quick. The more you do it, you're like, oh, that's why. And like Ash and I talked before, it could be as simple as the fact that you've had 2 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
It's your
Yeah.
period. Let's be a girl.
Yeah, it's so true. I think taking that pause, especially even just before you react in anything, it can really lead you in the direction where you need to be. I think sometimes we are in such a rush to get answers, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I need it now. I need to know if I'm supposed to be with this person. I need to know if this relationship's meant for me. I need to know what my desires are right now. All of them. List them
Why
out.
is it he not showing up? Or,
Yeah, and I
like,
think
what am I
that
doing wrong? How
things
much more self
show
healing do
up.
I need to do? And it's like,
That's the whole point of relationships. Things show up where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was something that I wanted or needed,
right,
or this was a trigger for me." There's so many things. I mean, that's the beautiful part about interacting with people. It's like you get to learn so much about yourself. If we were just going to sit in a room and be like, "This is all my desires and this is my list and this is who I am," like, yeah, it's so easy doing that. And I can say this for myself. I think I have it all put together, and then I go out and I interact with people and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," like
the void is
yes,
so real.
I
And
feel
when,
it at times, and then I come home and I have to pause and just remember, like, no, like, that's why that list of things, like, writing your standards down is so important, because then you can go back to that, your truth of who you are. That's why journaling and all those things I listed in the very, very beginning,
right,
it's great for you.
right. And I love what it says for you to read.
Yes, when you can sit in the space between letting go and receiving better, you show the universe or God you trust your worthiness without rushing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so great. I'm like I said, it's like the rushing of like, gotta go, gotta go. It's like,
Trust. Yeah. Trust in me is where it's all at. Just trust in me. God
mhm,
just wants you to trust. He has a plan for you. And that's just the truthfulness of it all. There's a beautiful plan. You can let go of the reins. You don't have to control everything or anything,
mhm.
really. We all think we're in control of stuff, but we're really not.
Oh, I know,
It's
right?
delusion. Because in 2 seconds, something could bomb
It's
up and
like,
you're like, yeah,
oh yeah, every time I think I have it somewhat together, like, that goes straight
bye.
out the window, and
See you
it's like,
later. You thought you had that. You don't. The truth is, the life, the love, the peace you're dreaming of is already aligned with you spiritually. You don't
mhm,
have to do anything. It's not a matter of earning it, it's about making room for it.
mhm,
So, making room for it would be like, yeah, we're saying don't do anything, but making room for it is being still and like the
open.
affirmations and being with yourself. So, there's
Mhm,
that room for what really truly is meant to be in your life to come in.
mhm,
That at this point now in my life, if somebody's taken out, I look at it as protection. I look at it as, you know what? Look at, I'm kind of like really freaking excited that who's going to come in now. Like there's going to be a new blessing in my
new
life,
character added into the
a new
story like we talked
character.
about.
Who is
Yeah.
it? Who is he
New
or she going
on
to
our TV
be?
series.
Yeah, it gets exciting because I'm not going to try to force anybody to stay in my life. And I just want to love on everybody, and that's okay if they choose to leave. I don't get that major heartachy anxiety or anything feeling anymore. I will say I can tap into that for a couple of minutes. I'll be honest about that, and then like why?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because
Making
gotta
room
trust.
often means clearing out the things you don't match the version of you, what you're becoming. I mean, it doesn't even have to be people. It's also the excuses, the potential, and the half truths.
Right. And if something or someone asks you to abandon your intuition, and this would be gaslighting you because you're calling them on something, you know it's true, and they're gaslighting you,
Mhm.
your joy, where they want to put you down and make you feel less than, or your peace just to keep it, it's costing you way too much. And the more you step into this, you will have a whole new life. If I would
Yeah,
have known this truthfulness, my life would have been so different. And I'm grateful for the life I've led. I wouldn't change it. But I'm saying it's what we're Ash and I are sharing here.
mm,
It's nuggets of
yeah,
wisdom that can totally change your life if you walk into it.
100%. You deserve a life where you don't have to explain away bad behavior. You deserve a love where your soul feels seen, not scrutinized. And I feel like for me, it's also just like feeling so appreciated in who I am. Like I feel like I try constantly in my depths of my soul so much, like so hard in relationships. I'm one of those people that I want to make everyone feel included and loved and appreciated, and having that shown back to me is just makes me feel so special and being appreciated for who I am
You
and
deserve
in
it.
my friendship and my love. And it's like, isn't that just a universal thing that we want? You know, you
Yeah.
deserve friendships that pour into you,
Right.
not just pull from you. So remember that in jobs, in your relationships and friendships moving forward.
Yeah. And that journey back to choosing more, to choosing yourself starts now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have it. Doesn't mean you like, oh, at the end of the week or the next Monday, I'm going to start. Next Monday, I'll start having boundaries.
Yeah.
Not
I
when
mean, we
they
gave you all
change.
the amazing tools. Yeah. So,
Right.
so amazing.
It's not like, well, when they change, then I'll be okay. Because
Yep.
that you have no power over that. And
Mm-hmm.
not when things get easier, but now in the small moments where you say, I am worth more and I will wait for what matches that. And Ashley and I are going to have more stories to come in the future about my
Oh,
whole
yeah.
walk, but I waited
Oh, we
for
got
it.
some tea to spill. No, I'm
We
kidding.
have some tea, but I've waited for a long time, and it's been a beautiful walk, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to share more in the future.
Yes. And so today and every day, remind yourself you are not asking for too much. You are simply remembering you were always meant for more.
Yeah, we love you. We see you.
Mhm.
We love seeing your comments, but so many of you have reached out, so many of you that listen on here. We know some of your stories, and you're wonderful already just where you're at. Don't you deserve the very best. It's
Mhm.
worth the uncomfortability of being quiet. It's worth the uncomfortability of walking into the unknown, even if you feel like you're completely alone and nobody's by your side. You're never, never alone. You always have God by your side, and you also have us, and there's many, many good people out there. You've got to make space for those good people, because a few little people that are
Yeah.
not supporting your boundaries or healthy in your life can completely knock out everybody that's good, that wants to come into your life, that's meant to come into your life, that you have a plan for to come into your life. So choose you. You
Yes.
deserve it.
And I'd also like to add too that I have so many amazing journals to add to that I have this rise and align journal. Let me see if I can find it. Well, one of the amazing ones, but I can't find it right now. I don't know where it disappeared to. But even just let your light shine is one of my favorite journals that I have, and it just gives you space to really write and just reflect on how you're feeling for the day and what you're going to shine for and grateful, and also has a little spot for your affirmation.
Really
So,
neat journal, very special.
little
It,
disco
it,
girl.
a daily reminder too, so that you're really truly rewiring your brain. Everything we're talking about, like Ashlyn has it in her journal, I have it in some of my journals. We have the link down below,
Can't
but
find it.
we really were inspired to write the journals that helped us the most, and that's what we have on our Amazon for y'all
Yes, yeah. The
for
Rise in the
free.
Line journal it's blue. It has a phoenix on it. I'll actually have to post it on our at Now That's Love page and have the link on there so you guys can find that.
Yeah, it's very special. She's put in so much work on it. So,
Ditto, ditto.
anyways, much
We'll
love
see
you
you
all.
guys on the next one. Bye.
Yes, bye bye.